Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Season 25. We are here in the streets of Baku, where Real F1 raced earlier on this afternoon, and joined alongside me in the commentary box for this P2 tier classic. First sprint weekend of the season. Colin, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Nick. Welcome all. I'm really looking forward to this one. Yeah, first sprint event of the season. And isn't it great to be racing around Baku when we've just watched the F1 race, which saw Piastri take a tremendous victory. I wonder whether any McLaren drivers will win the race today.
Yeah, it's the first time we've ever tried to do this in the league, where we tried to match up the weekends with Real F1 weekends. So next week's Singapore. So I think it's Singapore as well next week, if I'm not correct in real life.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So yeah, I think it helps builds a bit of hype. But we don't have long before we get into the action, Cole, because there's a new format this season for One Hub Racing sprint races, which conveniently were actually picked by the drivers this season. So they got to vote at the start what tracks they wanted to be the sprint races. There were three choices, and the three tracks with the highest votes are our sprint races, and this is our first one on the calendar. Cole, do you just want to run us through exactly what all our drivers and viewers are going to expect across the sessions here tonight, how it's going to roll?
Yeah, so we now have, we're going to first start off with one-shot qualifying. Now that will be in the dry. So the drivers are going to get one lap and one lap only. Then we are going to go straight in to our sprint race. Now the sprint race, we have a bit of weather. We have light rain to dry. So the drivers are going to have to deal with a wet session going to dry. Then we'll do a lobby restart, and the top 10 from the sprint race will be reversed. So if you win the sprint race, you will start 10th, and if you finished in 10th, you will start the feature race in pole. I think fortunately for some of the drivers, the main feature race is dry. We do have a bit of cloud. Don't forget, it is on approximate, so it's not a foregone conclusion that it's going to stay dry. Um, and both races will be 50% as well. And the countdown timer is going down, so qualifying will start very shortly.
The pressure's on with a one-shot qualifying session, and as Colin mentioned, our first bit of rain this season. Of course, we know that because of the league dynamic weather system that we use, and it was randomly selected at lunchtime today that the sprint race today will feature some rain. So it will start in wet, so everyone will probably start on inters, and then it will go into overcast. Whether it will dry up or not, we don't know. As Colin said, it is set to approximate, so each session will be slightly different. But massively excited for the first sprint race of the season. And Colin, we have a couple of drivers taking their engine penalties. So what will that mean?
So what they're going to have is they're going to have a 10-place grid penalty. That will be applied in the feature race. So once all the grids are settled regarding reversing the grids, etc., then we'll apply the engine penalties. Jess, I believe, is taking one.
And Quinn.
And Quinn's taking an engine penalty. So they're going to be, so wherever they finish in the sprint race, they'll be 10 places further back. Jess, I know, not very confident around Baku. So I think she's thinking it's a good time to take it here. I think Quinn's thinking it could be a few safety cars that will help bring him back into the race. Quinn's driven quite well this season, to be honest. He's unfortunately been. Oh, here we go. Here's Quali.
Yeah, interestingly, we'll try and switch over to the person on pole at the moment, which is Shelby. It looked to me like he left the session. So Dr. Mew goes straight on. This is really hard to keep track of. The days showed a little. We'll run a ball, but Funky. We'll just stay on Funky. Currently in third place as he exits turn 2. So one shot qualifying. Someone readied up straight away, so I hope they loaded their setup. Of course, the lobby restart will mean they only have to suffer through the sprint race without a custom setup. But the rest of the drivers, here they are. Quinn currently leading the way. M125 as they exit turn 4 is back up on top. Lawrence in second place. Quinn down in third. So we're riding on board with Funky. Cole, as we head towards the castle section, I know you're feeling a little bit under the weather here tonight, but riding on board with Funky, did you want to take us through this castle section? And as he gets a snap of oversteer.
Yes. So here he comes up through the castle section. So easy to hit the wall there. He manages to keep it out. You can run wide. If you run over the white line there, you will invalidate. Easy flat now runs here. So here we go now. Heavy braking. So such a tight right left-hander. Sorry. Lovely. Nice and smooth there. So he's currently in 8th. As you can see on the timing there. Crucial last corner to get a good run. Gets a very nice run. Now it's flat. He won't lift now. He'll nail the throttle all the way to the line. Moving the steering wheel as little as possible, not to scrub speed off.
Look at J.R. Mason.
And look at Mason and Lawrence up there as well. Now I'm surprised with Funky. He's still got 52% battery left. So, and Mason's pole. Mason gets his second pole in as many weeks.
Look at that. He was pole in Monza. He's pole here in Baku, and that's going to help massively in the wet weather conditions. Of course, no DRS in the wet weather. Obviously, the function of the ERS this season, where you can adjust it, is really important around this track, Cole. We found that out during practice. But the top 3, less than half a tenth between them. With the pressure on, Colin, and one-shot qualifying, that is massively impressive.
Yeah, that is astonishing, isn't it? Like you said, especially with such pressure, because you've only got one lap, you haven't got a chance. I mean, look at that, it's astonishing. I have never seen a qualifying that close for a long, long time. Now, does that suggest that Mason, Lawrence, 125, etc., have gone for a slightly, a normal dry setup?
It's possible. It's possible.
As the drivers further down the grid decided, you know what, I want a bit more wing. We will soon find out.
Yeah, and I think as well, what also has a big, I mentioned it during the lap, a big effect on your lap time is where you deploy your ERS. So there's not much point from deploying it during the middle sector, but you've got to leave a big chunk of it for your straight as you come through that fast left right hander. You've absolutely got to nail it right to line, and as we saw running on board with Funky, he had 50% left as he crossed the line. So you can see the rain in the pit lane as we wait for the drivers to adjust. They can adjust their front wing, they can adjust their transmission, and of course they need to pick their fuel. Remember, you don't have to do a pit stop in the sprint race, and there should still be a formation lap. And whilst that's ongoing, Cole, do you just want to run us through what sort of things can the drivers change from their setups for that one-shot quali heading into this race?
So the drivers, they can put a little bit more front wing on, which might help them stop a bit of understeer in these rainy conditions. You can obviously alter some tyre pressures, and you can alter your diff. Now that's usually very crucial around or in the rain, especially around Baku, because you've got a lot of slow corners, but you need to get that good exit coming out of the corners because you've got such long straights. So it might be interesting to see what setup changes these drivers are thinking of. It's going to be very, 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 very tight, I think, heading into turn 1 as well. We did have a clean start in the real Formula 1 race. F2 went a bit pear-shaped. But of course, it's going to be so tricky for them. Where do you brake? They haven't. Unless you've done any practice, you're not going to know where to brake for the first corner under these wet conditions. It's going to be very difficult for them.
Particularly further down with the spray. Obviously, it's not heavy rain, so I imagine all the drivers will start on the intermediate tyre. It just gives the signal to ready up. Of course, just one of the tier coordinators for the P2 tier this season. And interestingly, Cole, we haven't mentioned it, but safety cars. So if we do get a safety car, you can see the Aston Martin safety car in the pit lane down the back there. If we do get a safety car, that could also affect whether it dries up enough for drivers to pit for probably a soft compound of tyres. So that'll be really interesting because, by safety car coming out, it'll slow the race down, which means the track will dry up, which we know it's coming. 5 red lights, so it looks like no formation lap on, not too sure why, and lights out and away we go. Mason leads us away. Lawrence gets an equally good start, side by side already, yeah. Oh, Mason gets hit up the rear, so does Lawrence. So now Mason trying to go around the outside, has a bit of a moment as we head towards turn 2. Again, not sure why there wasn't a formation lap on here. You can see the Sauber in the background of Quinn. We know he's taking a new engine, so he'll drop 10 places from the grid. And he's side by side now with Mason, the Ferrari of M125 just behind as well. A couple of penalties from Jess and Funky, and these two are going side by side, just enough room. But Lawrence looks to have got away and is almost a second already. You can see someone in the background there almost in the wall.
Oh yeah, you can see it all slipping and sliding. But you know what? I know we got a few penalties, but that seemed quite a nice, clean start. I think everyone's come out of the first few corners unscathed with all their parts still on the car. I'm just looking further down the grid now. Funky getting overtaken. He's got a Liverpool start. And a Ferrari in the wall. Cowboy hit the wall there. I think he got away with it with no damage. But look at the spray. It's a lot heavier than I was expecting, to be honest.
Okay, Kate got ahead there of Shelby, and you can see the position changes. So Matthias is your biggest winner, up 8 positions. Jamie's up 5. Skrillex is up 4. As Jamie's loses a position there. And then a few, you've got Cowboy, Ghost, Funky. Do any of them have damage? Jess down the back has a penalty. Again, not sure what exactly happened there. But if we head over to, you can see that everyone is going to be on the intermediate tyre as expected. Lawrence leads us away through this fast left-hander. Does he keep it flat? No, there's a lift there in 7th gear. And I expect to see the drivers lifting in these conditions through that, what is a blind corner, of course.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be flat with the ride, but...
Here comes Quinn on JR Mason, sorry Colt. Down the inside, gets the job done as they cross the start-finish line, drifts over to the racing line, gets the car slowed down. JR Mason right behind, but down from pole position into 3rd at the moment.
That's a lovely move by Quinn there. Nice respectful driving between the pair there. A lovely little move. Now, can he close the gap to Lawrence? So Lawrence 1.4 seconds in the lead at the minute. Pit lane.
Oh, look at this. JR Mason, M125. M125 was ahead, heading into the braking zone, and then JR Mason just sent it late on the brakes, which is typically a bit uncharacteristic from JR Mason. Usually calm and collective, would rather give it up and live to fight another day, but that was impressive late on the brakes and still managed to hit the apex of turn 3. Yellow flags in sector 1, but M125 will have to try again there.
Yeah, he's going to have to give it another go now. Unfortunately, the yellow flag was KK, so Mason's teammate in the wall. He has damaged his front wing, so he is going to have to box. So Keki's now going to be hoping for a safety car to bring him back into this race. We got Lawrence now still leading. Quinn not really gaining. But of course, we don't know the setups at this stage. So we know that the drier weather is coming. When we don't know. You know, is it going to be dry enough for slicks? Are they going to stay out on these inters? Mason now still quite well in third. Salo having a great race in 7th, right on the back.
Oh, Shelby's retired. He was saying that he couldn't take control of his car in the tier chat. But I'm not sure where. That looks like it's... Where is that? Looks like on the exit there. I can't see his car. Yellow flags in sector 3. Proverb, by the way, made a pit stop. That's why he's 10 seconds off the back of the pack. But nevertheless, no safety car. Look at this, heading into turn 1, riding on board with Matthias. 4 cars all within, trying to fight for the same bit of space. And we saw some contact here just coming up between a couple cars in real life. Are we going to see anything? And you can see them jostling around ahead.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's really tight now up back. No DRS. They're going to have to do the maneuvers. Late braking into the corners. Trying to hang it round and get a better exit. So that they're not going to have the advantage of just simply using the DRS straight to simply go drive past. So it's going to be very difficult for them as KK now exits the pit lane, back down in 16th. Jamie up in 9th. He's gained 3 places. Matthias gaining 6, so a great start from Matthias, as he's right on the back of Funky, really pushing it round the corner through the castle section. Not going to be able to overtake there.
Quinn's got the gap down as well, Colt, as we head towards the big straight. But of course no DRS in these conditions, so it's going to all have to be done on the brakes. Some of these curves are so chunky, you hit them and it's like the car goes half up in the air. And then you've got the train with Skrillex, loads of cars behind, and you can see this beautiful helicopter shot. Do we think Quinn's going to have a go? He's got a good run here, Colt.
Going to give it a go. He's going round the outside of the wall, his overtake. And he's done it very easily. Lawrence still with 97%. So he didn't feel the need to defend at this stage, but what a move by Quinn. So Quinn now leads this sprint race with only 6 laps to go.
And if things finish as they stand, Quinn will actually start the race last, because he'll be in the reverse top 10, so he'll be 10th for the main race. And then of course he's got his 10 place grid penalty for taking a new engine. But Lawrence, if he's got something to say, and he does, down the inside at turn 3, brakes a little early there, but gets the car turned in nicely, and job done. Quinn will have to rethink things through if he wants to make that move stick. Look at this Cowboy and Salou as they head into the braking zone. Touch a bit of side pod, wheel damage there. No damage on that side pod by the looks of it, and just giving each other enough room. Oh, bit of argy-bargy.
Do you know, that's really good racing. Actually, it's so difficult to go side by side here. You know, it's such a tight section, and especially in these conditions where, you know, the car's slided. But look at this. Look how close it is between Salo in 8th and Ghost in 12th. They are all right behind each other. It's going to, you know, if one driver makes a mistake, it could be catastrophic for all of them.
Yeah, of course, because if the car doesn't ghost, look at this Salou getting really tight through the castle section, pushing the Ferrari through the exit of the corner there. You can see, of course, the rain light flashing. Doesn't mean everyone's low on DRS. And will Salou try and get him down the straight here? But look at the gap between the top 2. We don't know where to look at the moment. Gerald Mason, who earlier on was looked to be struggling, has now pulled M125 with him, but closed the gap between the top 2. So just bringing those intermediate tyres in was Gerald Mason. We said he's calm and collective at the young age of 69
years, so he'll be 70 in December. And he's actually pulled them in. Lawrence now, and Mason sets the fastest lap of the race. To show that he's really got that car under control at the minute. You know, he's dropped M125. Is he going to have the grip left in these tyres to challenge the top 2?
All going on back there as well in that battle, where you say, oh, and Ghost has hit the wall at turn 1. Will that be a safety car? I think he's hit the exit and lost the wheel, so it's flashing yellow. I can't see anything for a safety car now. If that doesn't bring one out, I don't know what would.
No, I don't think we're going to get one. I think OKK would be very disappointed about that. Down in 60, so we're now down to just 16 drivers now. Such a shame for Ghost. He's had a couple of poor results, Ghost. I think he's struggling a little bit.
Look at Salou and Jamie side by side through the chicane. Fantastic racing, both giving each other just enough room. But look at this. Now down the inside goes Funky, takes advantage, and poor Salou, who's been able to run so close to the car in front. Oh, and he has a slight spin, keeps it up the wall, but Matthias lost a bit of end plate there. He must have tagged the wall.
Yeah, I can see Salou's damaged his front left end plate as well, which is certainly not going to help in these conditions, but it really isn't worth any of these drivers boxing. We've only got a few laps to go. They're just going to really have to live with it, really, and just hope they can survive. It isn't really worth them pitting.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to gain a lot of time. You can still see it's raining as they come across the line to start lap 6. Quinn with a new fastest lap of the race, a 1:53.509. So that suggests that the rain is lightening up as it's meant to, 2. But it's interesting to see who's going to be able to claim the top step here. Can JR Mason do anything about it? M125 doesn't look like he's got much to answer towards JR Mason's straight line speed, particularly in the last couple laps.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Mason usually is that confident in the rain. But his move to full traction control instead of the medium really seems to be helping him. He's got a lot more confidence in the car. But look at Quinn. Is Quinn now regretting actually taking that penalty at this stage? But having said that, he's got the pace, so he will be starting at the back. But he's proven here that certainly in the rain anyway, that he does have the pace to challenge today.
Alrighty, so lap 6 of lap 9. Of course, it seems so quick, doesn't it, the sprint? But in these conditions, I imagine if you're trying to defend, it couldn't come, the checker flag couldn't come soon enough. But the braking zone, tricky braking zone, I haven't seen anyone put it in the wall there on the exit, even though M125, look how close he's getting to the wall as they run down towards the last braking zone, uses plenty of curb. But let's switch back over to lead, because look at them slide through this fast left-right-hander.
Absolutely brilliant driving. I gotta be honest, I'm impressed with each and every one of these drivers. You know, I was expecting to see a lot of front wings go missing, but Lawrence thinks about a move. He sets the fastest lap of the race. Just a couple of laps to go. He really is right on the back of Quinn now. Don't forget, no DRS in these conditions, so he's going to have to do it under braking.
Yeah, we should mention as well that the points, as we see Lawrence having a little look here, different eye lifts off, so thinks better of it. But the point situation is it's exactly 50% points of a normal race. So for first, you'll get 10, and then just half the normal racing points for the race, all the way down to 12th, who would get half a point. Yes, it will be done in halves as well. And Lawrence set the fastest lap as we cross the line there, but it's still raining, Cole, so I don't think we're going to see anyone coming into the pits to try and set a nice quick lap, perhaps. Obviously, no fastest lap point available in the sprint like there is in the main race, but still interesting to see whether anyone would have tried it if it had given a couple laps of a good chunk of time to gain.
Yeah, I think now we won't get a safety car now. It's too late in the race now for one to appear. It's going to be, can Lawrence... So I'm just looking now. Lawrence actually has 100% of his battery. Quinn has 92% of his battery. So they really are saving it. They don't want to use it. Oh, we got a yellow flag. I don't know who that's for. We got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Oh, it's okay, Kate. He's off at turn 3. He's used the runoff area. He went completely off, so not a good start to the race weekend for KK. But look at this. Quinn just looks like he's got this covered.
Certainly does. He's driving so well. He's driving really smoothly. You know, he's not sliding it too much. He's keeping it nice and steady. So he did use a lot of his battery on that lap. He's down to 40% now. With Lawrence still on 100%. Is that going to be crucial? Come the final run towards the line.
Here we go into turn 1. Matthias and Jamie. Gives Jamie a little squeeze. Salu's close behind in 11th. I feel bad for Salu. I feel like he's got really good pace here. But hasn't been able to take advantage as he's now on the outside of these two. Jamie makes contact with Matthias. Jamie touches the rear of Matthias. Matthias has a half spin. I think Jamie lifts off to let Matthias go. The Haas driver in 10th position at the moment. Lawrence able to get that gap down under half a second briefly in the middle section of this lap. Plenty of battles going on here, Cole. We knew there would be, as Funky is all over the back of Skrillex, last week's driver of the day winner, of course.
Yeah, he's having another good race now as well. up 3 positions from his starting position. Matthias up 7. So I think he'd be delighted with that. And at the moment, Matthias will start the feature race from pole position. So he's probably... Will he actually be keen to overtake Salo? Will he just happy to say, thank you very much, I will have pole position? Looking at the top battle is still Oz as Lawrence slides out of the last but one corner.
That's not going to help his quest down this main straight. He'll only have one more chance to get the job done, and the next time it'll have to be done before they cross the finish line rather than into turn 1. Because we're about to start the final lap here. Quinn leads us away. We know that the top 10 are going to be reversed, so at the moment Matthias will start on pole position for the main race with Salu in second. Funky and Jess both have 10-second penalties, but they might be able to get them removed from the stewards if they don't serve them. Of course, not sure what they're for. Funky is coming down the outside of Skrillex. Is he going to be able to get the job done here into turn 1? Sometimes tricky on the outside. Get pushed out wide sometimes, but Skrillex goes through, keeps the position, and Funky isn't able to get the job done.
Yeah, some good defending there by Skrillex. He's really holding the 2 cars up behind him. Look at Salo. Salo's looking really racy at the minute. Currently in 9th place. Looking at the top 2 now, it's only half a second in it. Lawrence is really on the back of Quinn now.
Oh, I think Skrillex made a slight mistake there. These 3 are literally nose to tail. I don't know how they're able to drive this close without, worrying about damaging their front wing, but look at them, and you can see in the background there Matthias has come to join the party. Jamie's just a little bit further on, but we're going to jump on board with the top 2 because this is the second to last braking zone on this track, and this is where Quinn's been able to get really the gap. Lawrence is able to close in sector 2, but Quinn, and look at this, Lawrence sliding slightly. Is he going to dump his errors and be able to do anything about that Sauber?
I think Quinn has this. Yeah, just look at these. You can see Lawrence, he is closing, he's dumping his battery. Same as Quinn. Quinn isn't actually dumping his battery. I'm quite surprised. It's going to be really tight to the line.
Quinn wins it.
Great win there for Quinn.
And
that's really, he's going to be delighted with that.
Funky's pushing Skrillex through this fast left-hander. He said J.R. Mason took 3rd in the sprint with M125 just behind him 4th. Rageman took 5th. We didn't mention him all race. He had a quiet one in 5th position. Look at this. Oh, there's been an incident. Funky's out the race. That was Salu and Skrillex. Salu jumped them both on the line. He must have got an absolute launch out of that final section there. But poor Salu involved in another incident, another week. Jess will take her 10-second penalty. I don't think it'll drop her down. It's got from you. Oh, slides the rear. Was running overtake through that high-speed section. That won't help the rear of the car. But Dr. Mew will jump ahead of Funky, and you might see Funky's car on the left-hand side there. Nope, but Dr. Mew, and yeah, poor Funky.
Yes, I only caught the very, very end of that. I couldn't quite see exactly what happened. But Skrillex do very well to, because he did have damage. He did have a little bit of front wing end plate damage, so he did really well to keep him behind for so long. But yeah, I think Funky's going to be devastated with that. He was having a great race.
Right, we're going to have to run through the results of the sprint. So Quinn takes the sprint win with Lawrence in second, J.R. Mason in third, M125 in fourth, Rage in fifth, Cowboy sixth, Salu in seventh, Skrillex in eighth, Matthias in ninth, Jamie in 10th, so that means he'll start on pole position for the main race. Proverb in 11th, Jess in 12th, 13th Dr. Mew, 14th Funky Crash just at the end but is classified, 15th OKK, 16th Ghost, and Shelby we know couldn't get back control of his car in 17th.
Yeah, that was. Do you know what? I was so impressed with the drivers there. Such a difficult track to race in the rain. One slight error and you're in the wall. And there was some good fighting going back and forth the field there.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't actually get any more incidents. Definitely think we should have had a safety car for that incident earlier on, but nevertheless, didn't come out and we still had a good race. Alright, so as we are waiting in the lobby, of course, just ignore everything that you're going to see on screen because we will be having a new lobby. Colin and I will wait for the invite. And you can see DHL, big sponsors of this Baku Grand Prix, but we should talk about our One Hub Racing sponsors, really, shouldn't we? Once again, ignore this session, it doesn't mean anything that you're seeing on your screen. There will be a new lobby and the grid will be set for the main race. So, whilst this is happening, I'm just going to run us through our sponsors. Of course, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here at One Hub Racing without their help, so big thanks to all of them. And of course, Next Level Racing providing prizes. This season is our 25th season and they've gone massive. Head over to SimGrid where you can check out all the prizes available. Or of course, join our Discord. And then you've got SimGrid, which I mentioned, who we run all our leagues through. So big thanks to them for their support. Vespertine, who of course do all our merchandise. You can go get yourself some One Hub merchandise over there. And there is some for grabs here as prizes in Season 25. And then Pure Sim Gear, who do sim racing socks and sim racing gloves. We're delighted to have them on board, of course. So, that was entertaining, that was good fun. All the results on the screen. And we will wait for an invite to the next session. So we're going to give Jess and Jamie the chance to set the lobby up, set the grid up. We know that Jamie's going to be starting from pole, and we know that Quinn and Jess both took new engines, so they're going to get 10 places further down the order than where they would have started. But they have taken their new engine, which every driver has to do at some point during the season. So they've decided to do it at this race and it will be out the way. What do you think the thinking there was behind those decisions, Cole?
I think they probably thought, there's going to be a lot of safety cars due to the nature of the circuit. And I think that's going to, that could really help them bring themselves back into the race. I know Jess was struggling with a little bit of pace. I think she was thinking she would be near the back anyway, so it was worthwhile her taking it. Quinn, I think, might be regretted his decision a little bit, but at least it gives him confidence that he's got plenty of pace.
Alrighty, well, as we wait for our invite, I don't know if you've had yours yet. But yeah, I mean, if Quinn shows that sort of race pace, he's gonna be able to come through the field. The only difficulty that he'll come up against, which is what we saw in, I think, real life today, Cole, was that if you're kind of the third or fourth car in a DRS train, you just can't do anything until that first car in the train gets past. It's extremely difficult to do anything on a car that's third or fourth in the DRS train.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we saw it a little bit with this afternoon's race that when there's a DRS train, it's very difficult. Um, but it's also important to be in that DRS train because if you're out of it, as in behind, you are going to lose a lot of time and you're going to struggle to keep up with them. So it is going to be important to stay within 1 second of the driver ahead, um, just to simply gain that DRS.
Yeah, so powerful here, and ignore this, what you're seeing on screen, because obviously, as I mentioned, we will be starting a new lobby, and of course, Shelby, who unfortunately couldn't take back control of his car after disconnecting from the previous lobby, will be able to partake, and he won't even start last, I don't think, because of the penalties to Jess and Quinn for taking that new engine. So, Cole, do you think we'll see any different setups here for the main race? Obviously, those drivers who ran perhaps higher wings or slightly more downforce in the previous sprint race because they knew the wet weather was there. Will we see drivers unleash the wings in this main race and just go for all
I
out
would have
straight line
thought,
speed?
yeah, I would have thought so. You might see a couple of drivers take a little bit of wing off. You know, they might have put a little bit extra on for the race, for the sprint race. Sorry, to help in those wet conditions. But we're going to have to wait and see what exactly conditions that they're going to be. You know, regarding we know it's dry, so are they then going to take some wing off to help them? To help them with this very fast long straight, because if you've got high wings you're going to really struggle.
You definitely will. You might enjoy the middle sector, but you'll definitely struggle down that main straight. But whilst we're waiting for the session, shall we head over to the standings on SimGrid and we can run through exactly where everyone is, and we've got this team standing all fixed as well, so drivers will be able to go and view how their team is getting on, Cole.
Yes, so currently, so looking at the Drivers' Championship, M125, who is yet to win a race, is leading the championship on 36 points. In second place, we have Funky on 33 points, who was also yet to win a race. Then we have in third place, Lawrence, who came second in the sprint race today on 32. Proverb in fourth, tied on 32 as well. Then we have Giggle and Cowboy on 24 points in fifth and sixth. Spencer Brown in seventh. Jess in eighth. Skrillex in ninth. Jamie in 10th. Matthias in 11th. Ghost in 12th. Mason in 13th. Sallow 14th. Specialist 15th. Quinn in 16th. So those points that he got for winning the sprint race are going to be valuable for him. OKK in 17th. Rageman 18th. Shelby in 19th. And Dr. Mew in 20th. Now, if we look at the Manufacturers' Championship, so the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari lead the way, but it's still very tight. So they lead the way on 60 points. We then have Alpine on 53 points. In third place, we got the Red Bull drivers on 39 points, and McLaren on 36th in fourth. Then we have Visa Cash App, RB, however you want to call them, in fifth place on 33. The Mercedes in sixth on 32. Williams are seventh on 27. Haas 15 points in eighth. Aston Martin in ninth with 9 points, and at the back of the field is the Stake Sauber team with 5 points. And that covers our championship titles. But we got so many races to go, and it's showing how tight this league is. You know, we're only 4 points between first and fourth.
17 drivers back in the lobby, Cole. And are we able to see the starting grid before we go to the... No, we can't see the starting grid. So we'll have to trust that the coordinators have done it all correctly, and then we will confirm it to you during the formation lap. So as we said, from the sprint, the top 10 will be reversed, with the person who finished first starting in 10th and vice versa. You've also got Jess and the sprint race winner taking some grid penalties for new engines. So they've got 10 place grid penalties. We don't have any other grid penalties here tonight, Cole, I don't believe. So looking forward to seeing how this one pans out. Of course, a completely different dynamic. 26 laps. We know it's going to be dry, but with a bit of cloud. And yeah, all to play for.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think we got any other grid penalties. Spencer Brown does have a 3-place grid penalty issued to him, but unfortunately he's not here this evening, so he will serve that at his next race that he enters. So now the tier coordinators are just probably double checking the grids, making sure everything's hunky dory. Drivers uh, getting back in the swing of things. Just a reminder to any drivers listening to the stream, please remember to load your car setup when we get back at the main screen. So don't forget to load your setup. It would not be a fun time racing around Baku with a default setup.
Just going to turn you up, Cole, because they're saying that you're a little bit quiet. So
First time
hopefully,
for everything.
yeah. All right. So big shout out to Hooky as well on the stream. Of course, a race winner here in One Hub, former driver, cheering us on. Who you cheering for, Hooky? Let us know in the comments. And yeah, Lukey is there as well. So is Kanam. So a couple of P1 drivers. Tony's there. Tony showed some rapid pace earlier in practice. So yeah, plenty to play for here tonight in the P2 tier. And then of course you've got the P1 tier where we're racing, Colt, at 7 p.m.
Yeah, so it's going to be yeah, it starts at 7 p.m. Exactly the same format as P2, so we know we're going to get a bit of rain in the sprint race with the one-shot quali. Yeah, so I know that Hooky is actually engineering for Mason to try and help him out. He knows he made a bit of an error in I think it was in Monza regarding strategy. So he's got Hooky, who's very experienced racer, obviously raced with us at One Hub here for a number of seasons, proven race winner as well. So I'm sure the help that he'll be giving Mason will be invaluable.
Yes, and I think the most important information, you've already mentioned it, Cole, but just to remind the drivers to load their setup. There will be no qualifying for this session coming up, this main race. It is just straight into the race, hopefully with formation lap on. Give us a chance just to run through the grid. We haven't talked any about tyres really because the sprint was obviously wet, Cole, and one shot quali meant that obviously you're going to use the soft compound. But what are we expecting here from the tyre compounds in Baku?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. Um, the soft tyres, they ain't going to last very long. A couple of drivers might take the risk of using softs at the start on the assumption that they could be a safety car, but they're not that great. They're not. They're you know, the pace of them really drops off very, very quickly. So I suspect that we'll be seeing the medium and the hards predominantly for these drivers. Um, but in practice, I've seen a lot of different types of strategy. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see who goes on what tyre.
Yeah, and of course they're going to get the menu in a second where they have to select whether they want to go softer, balance, or harder strategy. Here for the race, that will determine how many tyres and what tyres they get for this race. As you mentioned, Cole, lots of different strategies. That's a great thing about a two-stop. Otherwise, a lot of races would just be medium and hards in one order or the other from start to finish. But safety cars are definitely possible. We didn't see any in real life. We saw a VSC on the last lap, obviously, because of that incident after turn 2. But will we see any safety cars here? None in the sprint, but plenty of opportunity for them to come out and potentially harm or save races as the timer counts down. And interestingly here as well, Cole, fuel doesn't seem to be in high consumption. It seems to be quite a low consumption fuel track. Why do we think that is?
Um, I don't. That's a very good question. Um, because you are. I'm assuming you're not really on. I would say that you're not on the throttle very long, but you are for that whole back straight. So we might see actually a couple of drivers underfuel the car. It's a bit of a risk, and you need a safety car. But some drivers might take the punt, take a bit of fuel out of the car, um, go into basically minus numbers, and hope that a safety car comes out, which will help you. It's a big risk, but it could help and it could pay off.
Yeah, of course, the advantage of underfueling your car is that you will be quicker. because there's less fuel in the car. Less weight means the car generally will be quicker. But we'll have to wait and see. And safety cars obviously contribute towards those sorts of strategy and decisions prior to readying up to the grid. So, as we wait for the drivers, let us know in the comments who you're supporting, who your money's on. Tony's supporting Jess. So, Jess, I think, starting from 17th place. Looking forward to seeing the grid and really looking forward to seeing the tyre strategy. As Colin said, a wide variety here heading into Baku. Round 4 already, Colin. So, this marks 25% through the season.
Yeah, hasn't it gone quick? We're at round 4 already. It really has gone very, very quick this season. Um, but we still got 8 races after this, so there's still a lot to play for the drivers. The championship is not even close to being decided. Um, it's still wide open. So even drivers, further down in the championship order, there's still hope for them. It's a long old season, lots of different tracks. We've got another few sprint races as well, so even more points on offer. Um, but so hopefully now all the drivers would have loaded their setups, got their strategies sorted out their fuel load, and prepare for the formation lap.
Yes, just the tier coordinator. As we can see, she's given the signal in the P2 tier to ready up. So the drivers will be able to ready up, and we're shortly going to confirm the grid as well as what tyre everyone's starting on. We know that Jamie's going to starting on pole position. Do you think some of those drivers towards the last lap there considered overtaking, not overtaking, so that they could start near the front?
I think it's certainly a possibility. I would say Jamie would have gone, right, I'm desperate for 10th here. He did pass Matthias, who was originally in 10th. I think, yeah, it's certainly something that I will be considering when I'm in that position, if I'm in that position in an hour's time. So now the drivers now preparing their cars for the formation lap. Don't forget, new rules now in Formula 1 and F1 24 regarding how quickly the DRS is enabled. So Jamie's going to really want to get a good start, try and get out of that 1 second, because if you can drop the guy out of DRS, it's really going to help you.
Alright, well, as you can see, Jamie leading us through, we can see that Jamie and Ghost are the only two drivers starting on the hard compounder tyre. We've got Skrillex in 3rd position, Shelby, Quinn and Jess all starting on the soft. I imagine 15th, 16th and 17th of Shelby, Quinn and Jess are starting on that soft to try and make up a few positions early on and then come into the pit and try for an undercut. Everyone else is on the medium tyres. But you can see on the left-hand side of your screen the official order for today's race. Jamie, Matthias, Skrillex, Salou, Cowboy, Rage, M125, JR Mason, Lawrence, Proverb, Dr. Mew, Funky, OKK, Ghost, Shelby, Quinn, and Jess. Just a reminder, Quinn and Jess both taking new engines here, so they will not need to do that, or not need to take any further penalties throughout the season, unless, of course, there are a lot of DNFs. Because, Colin, DNFs mean double laps of engine wear, and your engine won't last the whole season. So, with few DNFs, and you could potentially be in a position to have to take more than one.
That's right, yeah. So you really got to be very strategic with it. Taking it early is not necessarily the right call. You've got to make sure then that you don't get DNFs, but sometimes they're out of your control as well. Yeah, looking at the chat, Lukey, and I do agree with Lukey here. I'm very surprised to see drivers start on the hard tyres. So if there's an early safety car, they're gonna be in a very awkward position. You might find that Jamie just simply stays out on those hard tyres. Unfortunately, Matthias has been disqualified, same as Lawrence, so they're going to start just a couple of meters behind their box. Quinn looks like he's got lost. Can't find his grid slot. I think he needs a map next time. But They're all now lined up, and here we are about to go racing.
Oh, what a rubbish view we've got of this. We'll go on board with Matthias, who, as you said, starting, and the lights go out. Jamie's got a decent start, of course, on those hard compounded tyres. We can't get a good camera angle of this as we head down into turn one. Look, he tied in, so someone's in the wall. I think that's the Williams. Salou looked like braked late and just lost the rear of the car, went into the wall. Yellow flags before even going round turn one. You can see a Sauber going really deep. That was Quinn. Went way too late on the brakes and just went into the side of I don't know what car, but one of the cars. So the sprint winner down in 17th place, and no safety car as of yet either, Cole, due to those incidents.
Yes, quite surprising, although Quinn didn't have any damage, so no debris on the circuit for them. But that's really not going to help him at this minute now. He might decide now to actually box this lap. Might be a bit of a strategy call for him, and then gun it. A great start by Okeke. Look where he's... So, let me just change the... How many positions is he
Five positions he's gained. Salou's lost 12. Shelby's up 4. Rage is down 4. Proverb is up 3. Lawrence is up 4. And M125 is up 3. But the top 3 staying exactly how they are. And Jamie looks under pressure as someone gets rid of the cone on lap 1.
Yeah, that's... I was expecting that cone to not last very long. Oh, I'm just looking at Okeke now. He has actually got front wing damage. He's got front wing end plate damage. So he's going to really struggle, especially in the high speed corners around here. Mason, his teammate, right behind him now. No DRS yet. Don't forget, we got another lap yet. But yeah, very unfortunate for Salo. I think he just locked his rears under braking. Yeah, Okeke pit.
Oh! Sorry, Cole. M125 tried to go down the inside of Jamie after Matthias had already got through and just turned in too early and just hit the wall. So he's got end plate damage. Okeke had damage. Salou had damage. Quinn's got damage as well. Quinn looked like he had the worst damage, but you can see that Ferrari missing the left-hand side end plate. Not too sure whether anyone else further back has any damage, but it will affect you a little bit through here, but perhaps not as much as other tracks. Jamie obviously losing the lead there on those hard compounded tyres.
Yeah, you're right, Nick. You know, there isn't that many high-speed corners that will really hurt you with a broken front wing. So M125 might decide to stay out and fix it under the safety car.
Jamie's out!
Jamie's DNF!
Jamie's hit the wall, virtual safety car, on the exit of the castle section. So it looks like he's counted maybe a... Oh, you can see the wheel just hanging there. But those at the back who have stopped will be hoping for a full force safety car. But Quinn comes through, and it's still virtual at the moment. Let's confirm with you who has stopped, just to take a
Yeah, so that really helps Salou and Okeke now, brings them back into it now. A little bit. Well, I haven't said that's a virtual, isn't it? Yeah, so it's not really gonna help them at all.
Is anyone gonna pop box? So yeah.
I was just gonna say, is anyone gonna decide to box? No one does. So none of the top drivers. There we go. We're now green racing.
Someone's in. Shelby's come into the pit early on the soft. Did he make that decision? Had he come into the pit lane before it was pulled in, perhaps? Doesn't look like he's having a wing change, so that was purely strategy. As Quinn also comes in, so he's going to have to repair his wing, and he's going way down the order. KK's in as well. I think that's going to be his second stop of the day. So yeah, no safety cars. Matthias leads us from M125, but Jamie crashing out from second place. Cole.
Such a shame for Jamie. You know, he drove really well in the sprint race. He looked like he was looked like he was controlling the race quite nicely there in his first couple of laps. He'd be so disappointed with himself. Maybe, going on the hard tyres, starting on those hards wasn't the right call. It's very difficult to get tyre temperature into these tyres, especially those hard tyres. Yeah, such a shame, as Rageman has a huge slide.
And you can see Proverb all over the back of Skrillex and Cowboy here as they all come through that left hand. It's a difficult corner, but I love the way you're on the limit every time you break there, Cole. It just feels fantastic when you nail it. But we can see some DRS gaps. Look at this, Lawrence on the back of the top two now. His teammate in 4th position, so Alpine 3rd and 4th at the moment. And as we head down the main straight, DRS is enabled, of course. Are we going to see any moves?
Oh, thought about it. As Matthias sets the fastest lap of the race at the minute. Leading away, Rageman. Despite that front wing damage, Wageman sets the fastest lap of the race, proving that it doesn't have a major effect on the handling of the car. So they might decide not to actually replace those front wings.
Yeah, obviously costs you a lot of time in the stop, but if you were to have to change your strategy now, it would affect you massively. You can see the tyre smoke and lockups, a big feature on this game. Cost Lawrence the race win in Monza, of course, when he entered turn 1 blindsided. Crossed the line first, but got a penalty. Shelby's in the pits again for his second stop, so he's gone on to medium tyres. And yeah, it's difficult for those drivers at the back. Unless there's a safety car, it's going to be a very frustrating race. But anything can happen in Baku, as we saw with Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen here. You know, I mean, it even proves in, you know, from watching the real race, you know, with Sainz and Perez coming together.
Oh, who's this? Sorry, Cole. Rageman. So I think you commentator cursed him with that front wing. He was, he's got no front wing now. Oh, and he hits the wall again. Wheel on wheel. Let's ride on board with the RB car. This is going to be difficult, particularly through these last couple corners. You can see Jess up now to 10th position after starting last. Rage is going to have to come back to the pit. Still no safety car.
Yes, quite surprising, especially with that amount of debris on the circuit. Yeah, apologies to Rageman, completely cursed you.
Oh, that's M125's round. M125 has spun it on the exit of turn 1 after being passed by Lawrence for 2nd place and spun it into the exit of the pit lane. I don't think he touched the wall, but does have damage from his earlier contact at turn 1. He really isn't getting on with turn 1 here tonight, is he? A driver who's, well, won the championship last season.
Yeah, he's struggling a bit at the minute, but a fantastic recovery from the spin. You know, it's he didn't lose that much time, in all fairness to him. But is that front wing damage now going to? Is it going to hurt him now? He's in the dirty air. Dirty air in this game now is a lot more significant than in the past. Is that going to affect him now? Is that front wing damage going to hurt him even more now? Now we got the two Ferraris now. Are they going to play the team game? Because it looks as though M125 is being held up by Cowboy. Yeah,
which obviously is surprising because of that wing damage. But we said if there's one circuit and the yellow flag says KK out, where is that? On the exit of turn 3, safety car, right in the middle of the track. And those at the back will be loving this. So safety car for KK, for KK. Can't get any luck in one hub. He's shown some much better pace this season and on this game. But let's jump on board with Matthias. Who's going to come into the pits? We imagine anyone on softs will.
Yes, I would suspect that we're looking at Matthias not pitting. Matthias decides to drive on. Lawrence is in the pit lane. Cowboy in the pit lane. M125. So is Proverb. Skrillex comes into the pit lane. So does Mason. So, has Matthias done a Mason and made an error by staying out under safety car conditions?
I think it could all depend whether there's another safety car, but you can see all those drivers coming into the pits. Ghost has stayed out because he started on hards. I think he was up to 8th place, 8th or 9th place on those hards, from nearly down the back. So I was actually going to mention him just before KK retired, that he was having a good race up until this point. Some fantastic pace, but perhaps hasn't showed it all that much so far this season. But yeah, has Matthias made a mistake here not boxing It'll be really interesting to see those at the back of the field who have already stopped early in the race will, of course, be very happy to see the safety car have come out onto track.
Yeah, so as you can see, we've got a big mix of strategies again here. That is one of the things about F124 I really like is the tyre difference really enables you to do quite a lot of different strategy types. We've got such a big difference. I'm quite surprised though to see Lawrence on the soft tyres because they are not going to last very long.
Only driver on the soft compounded tyres at the moment. Could he be thinking of the fact that safety cars breed safety cars, and if another one comes out, he can get his 2 stops out the way. Lots of ifs involved in that statement, but nevertheless, likes of Quinn, Salou, Shelby will be joining the back of this train, and as the safety car takes us through the fast left-right-hander, will anyone come in again? Could softs go to the end of the race from here, Cole? Could hards go to the end of the race from here? I know softs couldn't.
I think they could, but they're not going to be much fun towards the end of that stint. It is possible.
So, anyone going to dive in? Of course, the pit lane on the left-hand side. You saw someone's coming into the pits. That is Lawrence. So Lawrence is going to 2-stop here, Colt.
Now, this is interesting. Has he decided? He's going to put the hard tyres on now, is he? Yes. I think he's gone, I'm going to go to the end now.
Quinn's done the same.
It's a big risk because, like you said, Nick, safety cars breed safety cars. Yeah, Tony's saying hards will go to the end. Our P1 driver says as well, softs are awful. So Tony believes that the hard tyres will go to the end. Now, if there is no more safety cars, Lawrence could have played an absolute blinder here, and the same as Quinn.
Yeah, Shelby has stopped twice, but obviously on 3-lap old medium tyres, so we know they won't be going to the end of the race. The top 2 are the only drivers yet to come into the pits. Matthias on those mediums, which he started on, and Ghost on those hard compound of tyres. So we expect the safety car to come in this lap. Everyone's caught up to the back of the pack. And if you saw some drivers, as we were entering the pit lane when the safety car first came out, slowing down and not racing to the line, it's because they would have had a delta. And it's important to stay green on that delta, otherwise the game will award you a penalty, which you do not want to have to deal with. But the Aston Martin safety car leading us around, the Aston Martin sole remaining one, J.R. Mason currently in 6th position. Lots of different strategies again, Cole, but the hard tyre and the medium tyre obviously dominating the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme throughout the season where drivers are not really keen on the soft tyres, unless there's just a couple of laps remaining in the race with a late safety car.
So, safety car
now coming in.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting because, as we saw earlier in the season, you've got to get this right in terms of when you decide to go, because obviously Matthias is now your technically safety car, and you can see if you ride on board the safety car in the distance just coming into the pit lane. So he can't go until that safety car is in the pit lane, otherwise he might catch it up and then automatically have to slow down. But he's gone for it, so he's gone slightly early. Gets a run, does Ghost as they cross the line to start lap 8 of 26. And those hards for some of the drivers are going to be difficult to get temperature in them. But Gerald Mason losing a position, Jess losing a position as well. Everyone keeping it clean. A few lockups into turn 2, and you can see Funky and you can see Rage and Jess going side by side.
Yeah, some great racing going on in the back of the field. Nice and clean racing. I was actually on board Proverb, and he had a huge slide coming out of turn 1. I thought he was going to lose it, but he did catch it well. I'm just going to go on board M125 and see if he changed his front wing, which he has. So M125 now has a nice shiny new front wing on his car.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look as we come through the castle section. So Matthias holds the lead, almost a second now over Ghost. Is that just those hard tyres trying to get them up to temperature? M125 seems to have done alright. And we can see Lawrence. What's happened to Lawrence? He spun it in the castle section. So completed his 2 stops, but spun his car in the castle section. He's having to do a 4-point turn. Was anyone else involved in that? Was that the cold hard compound tyres? Last week's winner down in 15th place now, Cole.
Ah, such a disappointment for him. He's got front wing damage as well. And I did notice that when he was reversing, didn't have much choice, but he did hit the wall when he reversed quite hard. So has he now got rear wing damage as well? That we'll have to wait and see. And talk to Lawrence at the end of the race. But that's disastrous for Lawrence now, because don't forget, he still hasn't, you know, he's now going to have to box, really. Is he going to box or is he going to stay out?
Shelby's in as well. Shelby's got
Shelby
wing damage. So that'll be his 3rd or 4th stop here tonight. He'll be hoping for another safety car. Salu's also in again. So interestingly, on that last lap, we saw Proverb get into 3rd place and Funky past JR Mason into 7th position. So a few changes without the DRS, but have those drivers used a bit too much oil on that previous lap? Proverb looks like he's, you know, obviously he's got fresher tyres, but he looks like he's got some really good pace here in this main race.
He really does. Almost a veteran of One Hub now, Proverb's been with One Hub for many seasons now, and his experience really is showing through here. He really is right on the back of Ghost. We know Ghost is on those 8-lap old hard tyres, and he's probably going to be hounded by Proverb now down the DRS straight, but Ghost will have DRS himself, so we are going to have a bit of a DRS train on our hands.
Yeah, the first 9 cars are all going to have DRS. So this is a train. I think Cowboy's just come out of it, but he will have been in it for the detection point. Looks like he's holding up his teammates, so let's keep an eye here. Will we see any team orders, or is Proverb going to go for it? I'm jumping back on board with Proverb. You can see how much Matthias is losing from not having any DRS. And yeah, there is a switch. Oh, but one's gone deep. Oh, there's contact between the Ferraris.
Oh, there's damage as well. Cowboy's got front wing damage. Yeah.
Oh, and there's an RB in the wall. Oh, that's Ray. Nope, that's Funky. Got wing damage as well.
Yeah, poor Funky in the wall as well. Obviously had a bit of a disastrous sprint race as well by crashing out right at the end on the main straight. But I don't think the 2 Ferrari drivers are going to be very happy with each other with coming together like that. Yeah, Cowboy, you can see he's struggling, quite struggling a little bit now with that front wing damage.
Yeah, I don't know, as you're going to see, is this going to be a move into, you don't often see that, as looks like Rageman up into 5th position, gets ahead of Skrillex. So yeah, really interesting turn 1 there. Looks like, oh, and Rage is almost puts it in the wall on the exit there. These drivers are really struggling with the conditions, perhaps except for these top 3. Lawrence is out.
Yes. Oh, Lawrence is out. Now, I'm trying to work out where
it's the castle section, I think. I'm riding on board with Shelby, so you might see it now. Yeah, I saw a bit of wing damage there. It's in the castle section, because you'll see Salu jump ahead of him in a second. There you go. So Lawrence has been claimed, shall we say, by that castle section. And look at this, is Matthias going to come into the pits? Yes, he is.
Same as Ghost. Yes, which is a great decision for Ghost, because obviously he's yet to do a stop. So both Matthias and
Skrillex.
Ghost. Yeah, Skrillex as well, yeah. So this is a good decision from the drivers, to be honest. You know, you don't lose so much. It's not quite a huge gain like a safety car, but you are gaining a little bit. This is a cheaper stop for them.
And we saw how much quicker Proverb was on 3 or 4 lap newer tyres than the top 2. So are now Matthias and Ghost going to be the ones, both on mediums, to stop putting pressure on the cars in front because of the extra grip they've got with a fresh set?
Yeah, so Cowboy still nursing that front wing damage now behind Rageman. So for people who don't know about the virtual... Oh, it's Cowboy! I was just about to say, you've got to be careful by not speeding under the safety car. Cowboy does exactly that and gets a drive-through penalty. So, and you cannot serve that under a safety car. He's got 3 laps to do it, so that's going to really, really hurt his race.
Yeah, and your new race leader is Proverb. So, as you mentioned earlier, a veteran here in One Hub Racing, but leading the way at the moment. And what a good drive he's proving to have. If we have a quick look over at the database, we can see, Cole, that he's got 26 finishes, 26-point finishes, no wins, 15 podiums, no pole positions, 303 points, 1 driver of the day, and 2 trophies, 1 championship in season... 3 trophies, 1 championship in season 20, a 3rd place in season 21 and 24. Will he be able to take his first win? M125 comes across the line to take the lead off him, but we know that the Ferraris at the moment are struggling with turn 1.
Yeah, that's right, as Cowboy actually boxes. Now, is he going to replace this front wing? Oh, no, sorry, he is doing his drive-through. That's what he's doing, he's serving his drive-through penalty. Now, where's he going to come out? I think he's going to come out in 9th place. Yeah, he's going to come out in 9th place, just ahead of Ghost.
Here comes really Funky on Jess using the DRS into turn 3. And that's job done. Just having a good race though, currently in 6th position, so moved up the order, taking advantage of... this is sometimes one of those races, Cole, where you don't have to be quick, you just need to keep it out the wall.
That's right, it really is. You know, you're better off really driving 95% and keeping it out of the tyre wall and out of the barriers. And chances are you will have a good result. Yes, they're up in 6th place. She has driven exceptionally well in races. Qualifying's been a bit of a struggle, but her race performances have been superb. And don't forget, she has taken a lot of assists off, so she's gone from manual to automatic to manual gears. And it's proven to help her really, you know, race pace. I think dramatically in the last couple of years.
So interestingly, Cowboy served his drive-through and he still came out ahead of Ghost, who boxed under that virtual safety car. So it just shows you how much time Matthias and Ghost lost by not stopping under the full safety car as M125 sets the fastest lap of the race. Quinn's having a good recovery. Let's jump on board with him quickly. He's going to go down the inside of Jess, and I think you're going to see another pass of Ghost on Cowboy. Let's have a look as Ghost looks towards the inside. Lawrence leaves the session. He'll be disappointed. Won't help his championship hope. And yeah, Ghost has the move done before we even get to turn 1.
Yeah, it's nice to see Ghost having a good race at the minute. He's struggled a little bit this season. I was expecting to actually be a title challenger, but the results haven't gone his way at the minute. Sallow there, passing Skrillex. They're having a great battle. Oh, a big slide from Sallow there. 2 drivers having a great fight here. Unfortunately, it's for at the 13th and 14th. Don't forget, 12th. There's points on offer. Dr. Mew currently in 12th, only 1.7 seconds ahead of Sallow and Skrillex.
All going nearly side by side through turn 3. That's always tricky, as our dear friend Axlock and Lukey found out last season around here. But the gap's starting to open up a bit through some drivers. But a few DRS battles going on. Matthias on the back of Jess, obviously 5 lap younger tyres. So you can see how much of an advantage that gives. Proverbs dropped really badly out of DRS this lap, lost a second at some point during the lap. But you can see that Salou is absolutely pushing. He's trying to get the overtake done before they even get to, I don't know what corner number it is, but the downhill braking zone.
Yeah, I think he's better off just lining him up for the DRS straight, really. He's trying to go down the inside of the last corner. Oh, it's tight. Now, one of these drivers has got to give in. I don't think they're going to be able to go side by side round here, are they?
Oh!
They're going to give it a go. Oh, he's in the wall. I thought that was a bit risky.
Virtual safety
Better
car.
off leaving it. Yeah, virtual safety car. Salo now with no front wing.
No, it's Skrillex. I think Salo survived that.
You're right.
So Skrillex is coming into the pits. As you said, one of them was going to end up worse off than that, and one of them should have backed out. I don't know exactly who was ahead on the camera that I was watching. It looked maybe perhaps Salu had the ideal racing line, but Skrillex under the virtual safety car coming into the pits to change his wing, but going to cost him a lot of time. And in 125 still leads by just over a second. We saw Quentin getting ahead of Funky, by the way, into fifth position. So he's really, that safety car really saved Quentin's race.
It really did. It's really helped him here. Up now in fifth place. Just looking down now the fastest lap, and Mason actually has got the fastest lap of the race. Looking at his race director a couple of laps ago. So, as Rage gets a drive through.
And Quinn.
And Quinn.
Gosh, so third and fifth place, Cole, are going to have to do the pit lane whilst everyone else is full speed hurtling down towards turn one.
Well, unfortunately, Nick, I think you did a big curse there. You just said the safety car saved him. And the poor bugger's gone and got a drive through. Now he can't. Is he gonna serve it now? Yes, he is. He's in the pit lane. He's serving it now.
So is
Rage Man as well.
Rage, yeah. That's frustrating, but I always don't understand, Cole, why drivers want to try and gain those extra few tenths and risk this happening. You know, I'd rather lose half a second and just never have to deal with this situation of having a drive through, because it can ruin your race.
Yes, exactly. And the real shame thing is Quinn had done his 2 stops. So he was really speaking, if he could have got those tyres to the end, which we believe he could have done, he was on for the race win. So
and he had good pace.
Really
He won the sprint race. Cowboy, by the way, also comes into the pits. Let's just jump over and show you. So everyone down from 9th has completed. Oh no, Dr. Mew hasn't. 2 drivers haven't completed their mandatory 2 stops, but the top 8 and Dr. Mew yet to come in for their second stop.
Yes, so it's going to be interesting now. So you would have suspected that Proverb now will go on to the hard tyres. But having said that, is he going to risk softs? Because we've got 11 laps left. He might stretch it out to go on the softs. He's done 9 laps so far on these medium tyres. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle. So
Cole, I'll tell you who else is also in a good shout of the race win here is the 5th place man of Matthias. We know he often shows good pace, but can sometimes be involved in incident. He's going to get the job done, I would think, here, once that DRS opens, for 4th position. But he's on those fresher tyres, so he's always going to have to come through the field, but he's going to have that fresher compound towards the end of the race, and you can see he's taking advantage of it now. Ghost is doing the same. So I think maybe those 2 who did stay out are going to benefit later on in the race and be able to attack some of those who stopped under the safety car.
That's right, definitely. As Shelby shows some great pace on 8-lap old hards as well. So Shelby there in the Mercedes, showing that he was a bit more fortunate with incidents, that he could have been right up there. But he's still got 10 laps to go. He's in 10th place. He's in the top 10. Can he catch Quinn ahead? He's 5.7 seconds behind at the minute.
Dr. Mew comes in to fit the hard, another set of medium tyres, and I suspect he'll be going to the end of the race. Is that a bit early for mediums, Cole? 10 laps, obviously, we know they'll do it, but will it be slightly uncomfortable?
Yeah, I think he's going to be finding the last couple of laps a little bit tricky. I'm expected to see the hard runners come in around lap 18. So a couple of laps early, but he's at the back. It's worth a punt. Maybe he can undercut a couple of drivers if he can get some good pace.
I think Jess has made a mistake here. She's under attack now, big time from Ghost, as Proverb comes into the pits. So Proverb pitting off those medium tyres to what I suspect will be another set of mediums or hards to go to the hard tyres he's chosen to go to the end of the race. So he's gone for it, and Speaker going for it. Here comes Ghost down the inside of Jess with that DRS. And Jess, will she get under attack from Rage? No, Rage thinks better of it, but Ghost up into 6th position. He'll be going quite a little bit further perhaps into this race than some of the others. As Shelby keeps setting the fastest lap. He's got some good pace down there in 10th, as you mentioned.
Yes, I suspect now that we'll see Mason and 125 react to Proverb, because on those fresher tyres, you know, there's danger that he's going to undercut M125. So I expect that Ghost will be pushing like mad, and M125 thinking about boxing now.
Well, Proverb, on those hard tyres, we know how they're difficult to heat up. So will perhaps M125 be thinking about the overcut? Will these safety cars have meant that some drivers can extend their middle stint and then try and run soft compound tyres at the end of the race? Proverb is getting held up here, by the way, by Conti.
Yes, he is. He really could do with getting past as soon as possible, really. He has completed those. Oh! What a catch from Funky! What a catch! I think there was a little bit of contact. How Funky kept that on the wall, I have no idea. That's the save of the season so far.
So yeah, JR Mason 10 seconds behind the leader now of M125, who comes into the pit. So what's John going to do? What's your dad going to do? He carries on, Cole. So Proverb, let's keep an eye. Will he undercut the Ferrari man of M125? It's going to be close.
It's going to be super close. M125 just leaving the pit lane now. Matthias passes him, but yeah, Proverb's actually, he locks up.
That was important.
That was very important. It's going to be, so Matthias is yet to stop, Mason is yet to stop, Ghost is yet to stop, and Rageman is yet to stop. So, and Jess. Jess really is right on the back of Rageman as well. Really, really pushing the RB driver. Is she going to be able to get... Oh, we got a yellow flag in sector 3.
Dr. Muse retired. Not sure where that is, but will that be another safety car? I'm not too sure. Just yellow flags at the moment. Will anyone be able to take advantage? No, it's gone back to green, back to racing. So lap 18 and 26, John leads us away, 6.2 the gap to M125, who was earlier in the walls with turn 1, also had an incident with his teammate there, but Matthias on the back of M125 here, so interesting to see how these strategies are going to work out. Proverb fitted the hard, M125 fitted the medium.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting now. Mason leads the way. Is he going to box? Yes, he is. So Mason now will box the shoe for the medium tyre. Is he going to have a go? No, he thinks better of it. M125 might not know that Matthias is still yet to stop, so he might fight him quite hard. But if he knows that he's got to stop, he should really just not fight him, almost let him go.
So John, Rage and Jess all deciding lap 18 was the time to come into the pits. And let's have a quick look at our screen, and we can confirm that Matthias and Ghost are the only two drivers yet to complete the mandatory 2 stops. So 7 laps to go in this race, including the one we're on. And just leaving the pits now, down in 11th position. I don't think this is going to work out for Matthias and Ghost unless there's some sort of safety car.
Yes, and we're obviously coming towards the end of the race now. I can only see a safety car saving them, really. because they're gonna drop quite far down the field. One thing I will say is I know it's not a circuit that tends to get penalties, but not one penalty for corner cutting or corner extending from the drivers, which is fantastic to see, and it really shows that all these drivers are improving, you know, week after week.
Definitely, it's a challenging circuit. And Dr. Muse saying only just clipped the wall, but the car was finished. So Dr. Mew retiring from the race, and we now have 4 retirees: Jamie O'Keefe, Lawrence, and Dr. Mew. So 2 of those previous leaders, and Matthias is coming into the pits as M125 sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, M125 really having a commanding lead at the minute. Although obviously on those hard tyres. Ghost now in 3rd. Quinn now moves up to 4th. Shelby moves up to 5th. As Mason actually passes Shelby going into turn 1. On those, showing how good those fresher mediums are. Shelby got DRS again. Is he going to have a fight back? Is he going to have a go? No, he thinks he stays behind him for now. Can Mason now catch to the back of Quinn?
So, Matthias fitted those soft compounder tyres at his last stop. I imagine Ghost will do the same when he eventually pits. I expect this lap. So those 2 are going to be rapid and fighting for the fastest lap of the race, which of course is an extra point. Funky and Sully changing positions there on the exit of turn 4. And trying to go side by side. Yellow flags in sector 2. Someone's had a moment. Not sure who.
Every time I go on Paul Salo, he's usually fighting a driver. He's had such an eventful race. Him and Funky are at it again. They've been fighting all the way through this race. A little bit of contact, but nothing too bad. But he's all over the back of him now. Funky right on the back of Salo, fighting for the top 10.
Speaking on the back of, JL Mason's pushing Quinn through this section. Obviously Quinn and Shelby on those old hard tyres, so expect JL Mason to get that DRS rear wing open and perhaps get the job done on Quinn. No, Quinn's able to extend the gap as they cross the line, so obviously set that car up for some decent straight line speed as Ghost comes into the pits. So that is everyone now having completed their mandatory 2-stop onto the soft compounded tyre. And look at this, John carries a lot more speed through turn 2. Will he use the overtake? Yes, he will. There's not much left. You can see that Quinn's flashing. Is John going to be able to send it down the inside? No, thinks better of it, and he'll have to try again next lap. This is for net P3, by the way, so this is for the podium.
Yeah, this fight now is for the podium. He's got 5 laps. Can Quinn do a Piastri and keep Mason behind him for 5 laps? It's going to be very difficult. Oh, Mason, this is going to be risky. Yeah, I wouldn't have attempted a manoeuvre down there.
Look who this has helped, though.
Look at Shelby.
Yeah.
Shelby's been brought back into this. So this is a 3-way fight for the final step of the podium here.
It's going to become 4 because I'm sure that gap's going to close through Matthias on those new... I mean, it's half a second just on that castle section alone. 7 tenths now, so Matthias will be joining this party soon. Ghost looks to be going to be attacking Salu and Funky, who were having a ding-dong earlier on. Salu on 13-lap old tyres. He's going to struggle the last few laps. Oh, look at this. Quinn and JR Mason and Shelby are all going to give this a good go.
Oh, this is going to be very tight. Look at Shelby right on the back of Mason. Actually hits him. Actually he's pushing Mason. He's bump drafting him towards Quinn.
Round the outside. It's a decent move, that, round the outside on 14-lap old hard tyres compared to John's 3-lap old mediums.
Yeah, that was a lovely move round the outside there. This is really helping Quinn now. Now, will Mason attack, or will he just try and bring those 2 back? Yeah, he's having a go. He's back down the inside.
Oh, he's hit the wall!
Oh, he's in the wall!
Right, end plate damage there.
Yeah, he's got end plate damage. Now, we saw before that having end plate damage wasn't that significant. It might cost him P4 and P3, but it's not. We saw M125 when he had the front wing damage, and actually Shelby has as well. I don't know whether he got it from that incident. That I'm not sure.
Yeah, they both got end plate damage, and they're pushing Quinn through this, and Shelby hits the back of, you can see something flying up there. Shelby wants to get this thing. He's got some pretty good pace here. 14 lap old cars compared to the sprint winner of Quinn, who we know has got some decent speed. I think the top two are pretty settled in as things stand, but Matthias is just about to join this battle.
Yeah, and look at Matthias, don't forget, on those soft tyres as well, so they're not going to be brilliant towards the end of the race, but he's going to have some great pace in them at this stage of the race.
Shelby inside Quinn there. Take that how you want it. On track, of course, the cars were ghosting. It seems to have fallen back now to 8 tenths. I'm not sure if there was some lag involved. JR Mason trying to close in on the Mercedes man, but look who's in the background. Matthias on those fresh softs.
Yeah, this is a four-way battle for the final step on the podium, and it could be any one of these drivers, to be honest. You know, they've got to try and keep it out of the wall. Oh, Shelby's bouncing a bit. He's got a bit of lag there, but he's right on the back of Quinn. Quinn driving very well here, to be fair. You know, he's on 16-lap-old hards, keeping the drivers behind him. Shelby as well on 15-lap-old hards. Now, how's their ERS looking? So Shelby on 30%, Mason on 70% now, Quinn on 60%. And look at Matthias now, right on the back of this train.
Yeah, this is the battle everyone wants to watch, so that's why we're here. You can see the top two, as I mentioned, are pretty settled. And look, there seems to be more carbon fibre throwing up in the air. Oh, and Shelby gets himself a penalty. You spoke too soon, Cole, on the penalty situation. And now he's under attack from Mason, or is that lag? That looks like lag to me.
Yeah, lag really threw off Mason there. I think he hit, I don't know whether he hit the wall.
Cowboy.
Cowboy's out.
Virtual safety car.
Safety car.
That's our fourth one, I think, Cole, here tonight. Virtual safety car.
I think it is. I was quite surprised to see it because I thought it would be too late for any safety cars. Now that will help Quinn, really, because it's not going to help Shelby, unfortunately, because he was going to really need those extra laps to overtake Quinn and then try and pull a 3-second gap.
In the chat, the viewers are wondering what wings Quinn's running, because he does have some seriously good straight line speed in that third position at the moment. All drivers, by the way, Cole, who are going to finish tonight's race, will be scoring points.
Yes, I think this might be...
Oh, looks like Shelby's got ahead of Quinn at that restart, so taking advantage there. Perhaps Quinn wasn't fully switched on, but Shelby, it looks to me like there's some lag involved there. Shelby gets ahead.
Mason round. I think it was, I think Matthias is hit. Mason gets 3 seconds as well. Matthias hits the back of Mason into the wall. But that scuppers Mason's fight for the podium. But now it's down to Shelby. Can he pull out? That's a 3-second lead over Quinn. 2 laps to go.
Quinn could get him a podium here. 1.3, 1.2, so it's going to be tricky. Of course, both on old hard tyres, and I think it's also going to depend if Matthias can get past Quinn here. I don't think Shelby will stand a chance of getting that place, that podium. But nevertheless, let's see how this one pans out. JR Mason obviously got a penalty there as well. I'm sure he'll be able to get that removed as he was recovering from a spin. But look at this, Quinn goes back down the inside to take third position from Shelby. So Quinn has some serious straight line speed here tonight. I've not seen anything like this. And Shelby now goes back down the inside. Is there contact? No, but Matthias looking to take advantage.
That's astonishing straight line speed from Quinn. I'd love to know what wings he's running, if any. But what I'm surprised at is how actual, the confidence he's got in the corners as well. Oh, they're in the wall. Quinn goes into the tyre wall. Now, has he got damage? No, I think he just about gets away with it. So he should be okay for the rest of the race. Shelby now. So Matthias is now looking like to get the final spot on the podium.
Gosh, look at this. It's all happening here in Baku. We knew it would be an eventful race, Cole. It's 20-7, so our race starts in 20 minutes. So we're going to jump quickly off the stream as soon as this one ends. Lap 25, we haven't jumped on board with the leaders too much, but M125 doesn't really tell the tale of the race, does it, the 8-second gap between these two?
No, it really doesn't. M125 had a bit of a dodgy start, damaged his front wing, came together with his teammate, and safety cars for the third weekend in a row, to be perfectly honest, has been saved by it. Now out in the lead by 8 seconds. Proverb having a great race. I'm really pleased for him.
Sorry, Colt. Matthias just took third place off of Shelby, so we expected him to charge through the field and on those late soft tyres, but will Shelby on those 18-lap-old hards have anything to say about it?
It's going to be very difficult now. Shelby, he's on the inside of Matthias. Matthias can hit from the outside. I'm surprised that these drivers are fighting Shelby so hard, to be honest, because they know he's got 3 seconds. So I'm surprised they're so keen to stay ahead of him.
Here we go, into the castle section for the final time, and we're going to jump on board. We'll keep an eye on that gap as Shelby has that 3-second penalty. So Rage is very close, Rageman is very close to being able to get what will be, I think, fourth place. So we'll keep an eye on that, but here comes M125, last season's champion in the P3 tier, of course only 2 tiers this season, but he had some fun with turn 1 earlier on, but ever since then, he had a moment with his teammate. He's not going to care about this as he comes across the line to take the win here in Baku. And Proverb is already weaving. He's thrilled with second place. And look at this. Be careful, Proverb. You don't want to lose the wheel. Looks like Matthias recovers after not stopping under the early safety car to take third position. And he crosses the line, so his first podium this season. Shelby falls down to fifth. Yes. Quinn takes fourth position, good recovery from him. Rageman half a second back in sixth. JR Mason recovers to finish in 7th place. Funky in 8th. Ghost crosses the line in 9th. Just looks to round out the top 10.
Yeah, good result there, really. So that's Mason's, I think it's his best result of the season, actually. Unfortunately, he has had his race scuppered by someone else for 2 races in a row now, so we won't be very chuffed with that. Actually crosses the line with no end plates on his front wing. We saw the first one where he overshot, trying to overtake Shelby, hitting the wall. But what an interesting race that was. Matthias getting those soft tyres for 7 laps. That's pretty impressive, to be fair.
So, I think Skrillex crossed the line. It's driver of the day time. So, only 12 drivers to finish the race. So, well done to all of them. We'll run you through the order as well for this race. We'll quickly do our driver of the day. And then we will jump off, Colin. I don't know about you, but I need the toilet. And I'm also going to grab something to eat quickly. So, as we see the podium celebrations there, we're going to jump through that. And we're going to head over to the results. And we can see that on your screen, 12 drivers finished. Salou got the fastest lap overall. It looks to me like M125 got the fastest lap inside the top 10, so both of those will get a point. And my driver of the day is going to go to... Oh, it's a tricky one here, Cole. I'm going to give it to Shelby. 19 lap on those hard tyres. Frustrated to get kicked out of the lobby for the sprint. Managed to come home in 5th place, starting in 15th. And as I said, 19 lap on those hards.
That's a great nomination. I think it's quite difficult now, but I think I'm going to go with Proverb. Actually started the race in 10th, and still managed to gain 8 places up into P2, and you could see how happy he was when he crossed the line. So my question to you, Proverb, is: did you really think, starting from 10th on the grid, that you actually had an opportunity and a chance to get a podium?
And my question to Shelby is going to be, how frustrated were you to not be able to take part in the sprint and therefore reset yourself to be able to get a good result in the main race? Well, Cole, we didn't read through it, but the order was on the screen. I made sure to scroll all the way down. We're not going to do final thoughts. We're going to jump away and thank everyone for watching. It was a classic race here in Baku, and the P1 tier will be live at 7 p.m. So Colin and I will be racing for Mercedes over there. Head over and check that one out. Commentary, of course, with none other than Jess. Cole, it's been a pleasure, as always. I shall see you shortly, but thank you everyone for watching, and we'll be back next week.
Yes, good night all. Another great race, and hopefully see you all next week.